Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever really thought about the incredible science that happens between a single seed and the food on your plate? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain on modern agriculture to show you the amazing strategy behind feeding our entire world.
So let's just start with the big one. How in the world do we feed 8 billion people every single day? It's a massive challenge, right? The answer isn't simple, but it is a really fascinating story of science, strategy, and a whole lot of ingenuity.
And to really get it, you're not just going to sit there and watch. Nope. For the next few minutes, you are a modern farmer. Your mission is to build a farm that's not just successful, but actually productive enough to help feed our growing planet.
To pull this off, you can't just throw some seeds in the ground and hope for the best. You need a clear scientific 3-step strategy. First, we're going to perfect your crop variety. Then we'll boost its production. And finally, we'll make sure it's all protected. All right, let's get to it.
Step 1. It all starts with the seed. I mean, literally everything. It's the genetic blueprint for your whole harvest. And as a farmer today, you've got 2 unbelievably powerful tools to create the absolute perfect one.
Your first tool is called hybridization. You can think of it like, strategic matchmaking for plants. You take 2 different parent plants, each with a quality you really like, and you crossbreed them. The goal is to get a new version that has the best of both. And this can get pretty wild. I mean, scientists have actually crossed a potato plant with a tomato plant to create one single plant that grows tomatoes up top and potatoes underground. That's the power we're talking about here.
Okay, tool number 2 is genetic modification. And this is where science gets surgical. Instead of mixing whole plants, you can pinpoint one single gene for a trait you want, like, say, making it resistant to a specific bug, and then you insert just that gene right into the crop's DNA. What you get is a genetically modified organism, or GMO, that basically has a targeted new superpower.
So why bother with all this? What's the point? Well, using these enhanced seeds gives your farm a huge leg up. We're talking higher yields, so more food from the same piece of land. We're talking better quality. And this is the big one, resistance. Resistance to biotic threats, living things like pests and diseases, and also resistance to abiotic threats, the non-living stuff like drought or a crazy heat wave. Your farm just became a whole lot tougher.
All right, let's move on to our second pillar. You've planted the perfect souped-up seed. Awesome. But your job is far from over. Now you've got to create the absolute best environment to help it grow. So, just like us, plants need a good diet. And they get it from the soil in 2 ways. First, you've got macronutrients. These are the big meals like nitrogen and phosphorus that plants need a lot of. Then you have the micronutrients. Think of these like the plant's daily vitamins. Iron, zinc. They only need a tiny amount, but they are absolutely essential for its health.
But what happens if your soil just doesn't have enough of what your plants need? Well, as the farmer, you have a big choice to make. You can go the organic route with manure. It's natural, it's cheap, and it builds healthy soil for the long haul, but it works slowly. Or you can use chemical fertilizers. They give your plants a fast, powerful, and targeted boost of nutrients, but they're expensive and can have some nasty environmental side effects. Your call. Now, this brings us to one of the oldest and frankly smartest tricks in the book, crop rotation. It's genius. See, if you plant the same thing over and over, you'll suck the soil dry of certain nutrients. But if you rotate, you can outsmart that. So, year 1, maybe you plant a crop that uses a ton of nitrogen. Then the next year, you plant something completely different that barely uses any. This gives the soil a chance to naturally recharge. It's a simple, brilliant way to protect your number 1 asset, your soil.
And of course, your plants need water. But let's be real, water is precious, so just flooding your fields isn't really the modern way. The solution is drip irrigation. It's a network of pipes that delivers water straight to the roots of every single plant, 1 drop at a time. The result? It's incredibly efficient. You cut down on waste and make sure every last drop counts.
Okay, you've done it. The perfect seeds are in perfectly nurtured soil, getting the perfect amount of water. Your fields look incredible. But hold on, don't start celebrating yet. Your beautiful harvest is super vulnerable. It's time to play defense.
As a farmer, you're in a constant war with 3 main enemies. First, weeds. They're just thieves, stealing water and food from your crops. Second, insects, which can literally chew away your profits. And third, pathogens. These are the invisible killers, things like bacteria and fungi that can spread disease through an entire field.
And get this, the fight isn't even over when you harvest. You have to store everything properly. One mistake here, and you could expose your entire harvest to moisture, rot, or more insects.
We're talking huge financial losses before your food even leaves the farm.
Fantastic! Your crop operation is a huge success, and your harvest is safe and sound. But you know, a truly modern farm is often more than just fields. To build a fully integrated system, it's time to diversify. It's time to get into animal husbandry.
Let's start with poultry. Right off the bat, you've got a business decision. Are you raising chickens for meat? If so, you'll raise broilers on a high-protein diet to get them big fast. Or are you in the egg business? In that case, you'll raise layers, and their success is all about a different environment. Controlled lighting, just the right amount of space, all to maximize egg production. Two paths, two totally different strategies. Okay, what if you want to get into dairy farming? Your whole business is going to circle around one key biological idea, the lactation period. That's the window of time after a cow has a calf when she actually produces milk. As a dairy farmer, your entire goal is to manage and extend that window for as long as possible.
So how do you do that? Well, science has the answer, and it's going to sound familiar. It's crossbreeding again. Farmers will take a foreign breed of cow, one that's known for a super long lactation period, and cross it with a local breed that has really strong resistance to local diseases. And what do you get? A hybrid cow that's both a powerhouse of production and tough enough to thrive right where you are.
You know, the same strategic thinking even works for fish farming, with this brilliant idea called composite fish culture. Instead of just raising one kind of fish, you can raise several different species all in the same pond. How does that work? Well, they don't compete for food. Some fish feed at the surface, others feed in the middle, and some are bottom feeders. You're basically using the entire ecosystem of the pond and maximizing what you can produce in that one small space. It's so smart.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that the food on your table did not get there by accident. Not even close. From that very first modified seed all the way to a complex system of crop rotation and animal husbandry, the modern farm is a masterpiece of scientific strategy. It's a whole system, constantly being tweaked and optimized to solve one of our biggest challenges. And that kind of leaves us with one final big question. We've seen hybridization, GMOs, drip irrigation, we've covered the land and the water. But as our population keeps growing and technology just keeps accelerating, what's next? What does the farm of the future even look like? Now that is some food for thought.